Hello YouTube, I am vlogging to you while wearing my winter December jammies. My PJs, I like to call them. It's just a nice flannel nightgown, very sensory friendly, and it's kind of cute. I just kicked my door thingy. Anyway, my PJs are so cute. But this vlog is not about my nightgown. This vlog is about the best Christmas I ever had in my life and the worst Christmas I ever had in my life. But I'm going to do the worst one first because that's the hardest, and I'm going to be very brief about it because it's really upsetting to me still. Easily worst Christmas of my entire life is Christmas 2012. And there's two words to tell you why. Bernie died. That was the year we lost my dog. December 17th, a week before Christmas. That's the day of the year that I almost don't want to exist on December 17th. I just wish I could skip it and just not deal with it. I need that little Lakitu cloud in Super Mario 3 so I can skip that day, just like you can skip a level. But can't do that. Don't have a TARDIS, so I can't ask the doctor for help. But December 2012, losing Bernie like that was just... I had no inkling that we were going to lose him, and until the vet said there was nothing more we could do, and the vet tech was explaining what our options were. And so I had like minutes. You know, when I watched the episode Doctor Who Faced the Raven, when I see the doctor reacting to the fact that Clara is not gonna live through this, let's just say that I completely lose it because I know what it feels like. I know what that feels like. Face the Raven is just, oh my god, that episode. But anyway, so what about the best Christmas of my life? This is going to be a bit strange, but it's actually Christmas where I really learned what Christmas is and what it really means to just to be alive on Christmas, and just what it means, and just the spirit of what Christmas is. Easily the Christmas of 2000. Okay, this one, this is really wild, but my family got news in November, like early November, that the owner of the house that we were living in at the time was going to sell the property right out from under us. And the owner wanted us out of there before the first of the year. Keep in mind, November, okay? November, December. That was less than 2 months to find somewhere else to live and get our crap out of there and move. Okay? So the owner is doing this, and the landlord of the property that we were living on at the time happened to have a place available. But it was completely trashed by the previous tenants. He had evicted them, so he basically booted them out because, you know, it was just a horrible living situation. And the house was trashed. So he got a whole bunch of his friends together, and they just worked night and day for weeks and weeks to completely redo the inside of the house, to put like tile on the floor, new carpet, to rebuild walls. I mean, there were walls that were just trashed. I mean, it's like, who lived here, Godzilla? So he gets this house all done, all put together, all nice, all pretty, and we move into it on December 15th, 2000. And I'm standing in that house right now. Okay? So we had just moved. We didn't have any time to do any shopping or anything. I begged my mom, please just go get a little tiny Christmas tree, a little foot-tall Christmas tree to put in a corner just so that there's some feeling of Christmas. And she also, so she did that. She got a little tree. It was like a foot tall. It was just a tiny little tree. Put a couple little ornaments on it and lights and stuff so that, you know, it shone in the window, and it was really pretty. And she also put our outdoor nativity up, which it lights up. So there was the nativity outside and the little Christmas tree in the house. And you know, this house has an extra room that we never had before in other houses. So there's like the living room, which is where the TV is and some couches and chairs are. And then there's the family room, which is where we put our Christmas tree every year now. But it's got like a coffee table and couches, and there's a piano that nobody uses, but it's an antique, so we keep it there. But we didn't have any furniture for it. We only had furniture for like the bedrooms and the living room area, but not for this family room. So there were boxes and stuff, and it was like bare floor and bare walls because pictures hadn't been put up yet, and we were still unpacking. You know, it was just the essentials were unpacked, so like the beds and the bed sheets and clothes and stuff, and everything else was just kind of scattered around in boxes, so it looked kind of empty and cold and lifeless. But that Christmas Eve, you know, my mom and I went to church at like 4 or 5 something in the evening. And then my family, we kind of went out to dinner, and you know, my sister came over and we all went out to dinner, and we came back to the house, and my sister had just like a couple little gifts to give out, which she did, and you know, and I remember I was sitting there opening them, and the house was kind of dark except for like a lamp in the family room and the little Christmas tree behind us, so there was like barely any light. You know, it was like this much light. If I turn off this light, it was about this bright in the house that Christmas Eve. Although it looks darker on camera, you know, you could see a person's face, but you know, it was kind of like that. Just very small. It felt really enclosed and small. And you know, I got a little cross necklace thingy with little gemstones on it and stuff, something like that. It was just a pretty little piece of jewelry. And my mom, she got like some kind of a really elaborate like nativity thing. It's got the candles on the bottom and it spins. I don't know, it looks like a tier wedding cake, except it's a decoration and it spins. It's got like these propellers on top. And you light the candles, and the heat will make it turn. I don't remember what they call it, but it was something from like Germany or something, or Holland or something like that. But when I see that decoration, I remember that Christmas Eve. And you know, it was just kind of token gifts, you know, the kind of gifts you get when you just don't have time to shop. You know, it was those kind of things. Although my sister, for the gift from my mom from my sister, was that fancy decorating spinny thingy. You know, that was not an I don't care gift, but everything else kind of was. But I remember sitting there looking at the you know, just this little measly little bit of wrapping paper on the floor, and I was thinking to myself, this is the worst Christmas ever. I mean, no presents, I'm not getting anything. And I went like this, and I looked up at the ceiling, and I just kind of froze. And I took a breath, and I smelled the fresh paint, and I smelled the brand new carpet, and I looked at the walls that were so clean and white, because, you know, the paint was brand new. And I looked up at the ceiling again, and I realized there's somebody out there right now who doesn't even have a ceiling over their head. And I looked around and I thought, there are people out there that don't have a bed to sleep in. There are people out there that don't have a shirt to wear. There are people out there that don't have shoes to keep their feet warm. There are people out there that don't have a fridge to put anything in, and they don't have anything to eat. There are people out there that are sleeping under a bridge, huddling around their kids. And I was complaining about not getting wrapped presents on Christmas. And that's when it hit me that I was really freaking lucky. I was really freaking lucky to have what I had that year. And I looked at my family. You know, they all had their heads bowed and they were looking at their little gifts, and I looked around at them. We were sitting on the floor in this room with no furniture. And I realized how damn freaking lucky I was. Because there are people that have even less than I do. Even Jesus himself was born in a barn and laid down to sleep in a trough that feeds horses. That's what a manger is. It's a trough that the animals eat out of. And that was his bed. He didn't have, you know, he barely had a roof. He was surrounded by animals that probably stunk, probably wasn't very clean. And I was whining that I wasn't getting presents to unwrap. And that's when I realized this is what Christmas is. It's not the presents. It's not the capitalistic bull crap. It's not the running around trying to get the best iPhone or the iPad or whatever gadget is the new trend this year. Christmas is not about that. Christmas is about being with people you love. Christmas is about being grateful for what you've got. Christmas is about God. Christmas is about Jesus. Because He is the reason it's called Christmas in the first place. Because Christ's Mass turned into one word, Christmas. And that was the year that I learned what Christmas really is. The year 2000, turn of the millennium. Christmas of a lifetime. And that's why it's the best Christmas ever, because I learned what Christmas is really about. So when I don't get what I asked for or what I put on my list, I don't complain, because I remember the year when I had nothing except a house. And a house is something. You know, I turn that nothingness, so this is nothing, into I've got my family. I've got a bed. I've got clothes. I've got a heater I can sit next to if I'm cold. I've got a fridge I can open up to get food out of if I'm hungry. I've got a shower that I can take a shower in. And there are people that don't have that. So when I don't get what I want for Christmas, for whatever reason, I don't complain anymore. Because I know there are people that don't even have a place to live. And that's why the Christmas of 2000 is the best Christmas I ever had. And I'm grateful that I had that Christmas. I wouldn't change it for the universe, for the world, for nothing. Because that was the Christmas where God told me, this is what it's about. And He told me through the situation that I was in. And I got the message. And I hope you do too. Christmas is not about that iPhone or who can get the most expensive gift, because money doesn't buy love. Okay, if you think that they're not going to think that I love them if I don't get them this newfangled PSP, Sega, whatever, or Nintendo Wii or iPad, whatever. If love is based around a dollar amount, it's not love. I mean, you know, it's nice to get your wife a diamond ring, you know, it's nice to get your kids a nice toy or something like that. I get it. But if all you're doing to get these expensive gifts is to say, I got the most expensive gift, so they're going to love me the most, then you're not doing it for the right reason. Christmas is about giving for the spirit of giving, because you love somebody, not because you're trying to buy their love back. You know, if you're trying to trade love for whatever gift you give somebody, you're not doing it right. Christmas is giving for the sake of giving, not giving because you'll get something back. Just give. Who cares if somebody doesn't say thank you? You gave, you loved them, and maybe they will remember it years later, and they'll do it. They'll give to somebody who won't say thank you. But that person one day will turn around and go, wow, that was really nice. Here, let's go to the soup kitchen and work here. You see how it goes? The spirit of giving keeps on giving. It leads by example, and that's what God wants for us. So Christmas 2000, best Christmas I ever had, and I wouldn't take it back for anything. Happy holidays out there, everybody.